This video is going to show you how to connect your microbit to one servo. If you want to add additional servos, you'll watch the follow-up video. So let's go ahead and grab our material. So you're going to want to grab your microbit, make sure that it's plugged into the USB, the micro USB cable, and take the USB cable and plug it into your laptop. All right, when you plug it into your laptop, you'll know it's working because the lights go on the back. Okay, and so now you're ready to get to the Make Code editor. So you're going to go to Google and you're just going to Google search Microsoft Make Code or Microbit Make Code. Either way, if I Google that, Microsoft Make Code, oh, here we go. Here's the one that I'm looking for, makecode.microbit.org. Okay, so it's going to take me to makecode.microbit.org. If you are using the same laptop, it's going to show you all of the projects that you've had. Otherwise, you're going to click New Project, and I will call this Servo 1. Okay, so I'm going to create that. It takes me to my web editor, and if you recall, here's what your web editor looks like. I'll get rid of these two blocks right over here. And then the simulator is going to start working in just a second once I get the code ready to go. Okay, so let's talk about the code. So the code that you're going to have is going to be in your Servo folder, and you don't see it here, but if you click on extensions, so I clicked advanced, and then I clicked extensions, you're going to see Servo right here. So you're going to import that library, and now you've got a bunch of code for servos. Okay. Let's actually talk about the servos just a little bit. So let's grab your servo motor, and you're going to grab whatever rotor that you want. I'm not sure how you want to have this rotor connected to your hand, but I'm just going to put my rotor just like so. So it's like that. And now on the servo itself, let's talk about the cables that are there. So you're going to see a brown wire, a red wire, and an orange wire. Okay, so the brown one is going to represent your ground, and ground just in general is always represented with black. So I'm going to grab one of these alligator to pin cables here. So here's my alligator to pin, and I'm going to plug in my pin on the brown right in here. Okay, so I'm just plugging it in like so. Just get it firm, and now it's plugged in like that. Okay, the red wire is connected with power, and so I'm going to grab another alligator to pin, and I'm going to plug that in to my red wire here. Okay. Now, ideally, the third one is connected to the pin that's going to provide control. So ideally, if you have another color that's alligator to pin, like maybe a white one or some other color, just ask Mr. Wheatley or I if we have one, that would be ideal. The colors of the wires technically don't matter. It's just to help you keep things straight. I don't happen to have one, so I'm just going to use another red one. And again, this is an alligator to pin, so I'm going to plug that into where my orange wire is, and it's going to be secure there. Great. Okay, so now I've got this servo connected right here to all of these alligator clips. Let's go back to my code. Actually, let me connect this to my microbit so that you see how this connection happens. All right, so here's my microbit, and I've got these wires here. Okay, I'm going to take the one that was connected to my brown cable, which was my ground. I know you're loving that sound in the background, sorry. I'm going to take this right here, and on the microbit where it says GND, I'm going to connect that like so. Okay, so I've got it connected firmly there. Now I'm going to get my red cable, which was plugged into that red pin end, and I'm going to grab the alligator clip end, and that power is going to go right here on the microbit where it says 3V. Okay, so I'm going to plug that or connect that like that. Okay, It's important that the wires aren't touching, the ground and the power wires aren't touching. So just make sure that they're secure. And the last one happened to fall out, so I'm going to plug that back in. And this is connected to whichever pin I want to use. So you'll notice that the microbit has 3 pins right here, 0, 1, and 2. It really doesn't matter which one you use. I'll go ahead and use 0, but that's going to tell me which pin I need to control with my code. So let me make sure this is connected. There we go. So now I've got a connection between my servo motor as well as my microbit. And I'm, again, just making sure that these are secured and not touching one another. All right, let's get into the code itself. I'm going to put this to the side and let's get into the code. All right, so the code is pretty straightforward. Let's say that I'm going to get an input. So whenever the A button is pressed, which is this button right here, I'm going to set my servo, and this is where I was talking about. So mine right now is set to pin 0. I could set it to pin 1 or 2. And so I'm going to set it to 0 degrees. And you'll notice that in the simulator, it actually pops up and shows you what it's doing. Also in the simulator, it's cool. It's telling you like how this should be set up. So your power is 3 volt, your ground is there. Now they're using different colors, but you'll notice the colors are same down here, brown, red, and like that orange, yellow. Okay, so maybe I want to set it to 0, and then I want to wait like 2 seconds or something like that, or maybe 1 second. And then I'm going to go back to servos, and I'm going to set my servo to like 180 or something like that. And then I'm going to put in another pause for another second. So you've got to decide, like, how do you want your motor to, or your servo to turn? And maybe like I'm going to add a loop to this just to loop the code 4 times. Okay, so you can see in my simulator, like, okay, it's looping 4 times. Okay, so now let me go ahead and download it to my microbit. Hold on, I'm going to show you one thing here. So when you want to download it to your microbit, you're going to click download. And the first time that you're using a laptop, it's going to download this hex file. And but then once it says downloaded hex file, it says your code is being downloaded. You can drag the file to your microbit using your computer's file explorer. So what I could do if I wanted to is I could connect this, or I could download that to my microbit. Okay, so I will download, I'll take this servo file and I will download it right here to my microbit. I could do that and it'll work, but I don't want to do that. Look at, I want to pair it with my web. So I'm going to click on pair now, and then it says make sure that it's connected. Okay. And then it takes you to this screen right here. It says, okay, there's going to be a pop-up. Okay. So I click next, and then I want to select this microbit. And now it says it's connected. So I don't have to do any of that dragging stuff over. Now I'm just going to go ahead and download it. And before I test it out on my microbit to see if it's working, I'm going to see in my simulator, so you can see it's, so I'm going to click on my simulator, just make sure that this is like the code that I want. Yep, that's the code that I want. All right, here we go. Here's the moment of truth. I'm bringing over my microbit. It just said that it downloaded. Here's the A button. I'm going to click it, and nothing. Let me make sure. Oh, here we go. One of these pins fell out. So that's, again, like the little troubleshooting that you're going to have to do. And here we go. Okay, now everything's connected. And the moment of truth, there we go. I've got it connected, one servo to my microbit, and I've got my code there. If you have any questions, let me know.